Welcome back to another interesting and educational update from Thompson's Coins. This week, and it seems to be a continual theme as of late, I've had some very interesting coins pass through the shop, and I thought I'd take the opportunity to highlight these very interesting pieces of ancient history. And before I continue, it's actually been quite funny. I've had a couple of people come into the shop and I realised I don't think I've ever introduced myself as in my name. So my name's actually Matt. Some people, like my mum, call me Matthew, but I've had a number of people call into the shop thinking that my first name is Thompson. So Thompson is actually my surname, hence the business being called Thompson's Coins. But if you ever drop into the shop, or if you see me out there in the wild at a coin show, you can just call me Matt. My name's not actually Thompson, but I appreciate it nonetheless. But back to the focus. So today I have here some really interesting coins that were struck under the reign of Alexander the Great. This is about as cool as it gets in terms of ancient history. People often come in, and if they have a bit of an interest in ancient history, Alexander the Great is invariably the one they come back to. And I often have to disappoint people and say it's a type of coin that it comes in and then very quickly goes out. So it's always exciting when I have a couple of them, because it means that I get to make a little display in the store and get to have those conversations with people and get right into the nuts and bolts of ancient history, which is always a lot of fun. And often it's really cool because a lot of people that have a keen interest in ancient history, more often than not, they leave me with a bit of a lesson as well. There's so much to learn about these things, and often I learn just as much through research as I do from people coming into the store that have an interest as well. So the three coins we have here are all the same denomination. They're all tetradrachms. These were significant sums of money back in the day. So more often than not, these would have been used to pay soldiers and things like that, and they would have represented a couple of days' wages. More commonly, you'll see the drachm, which is significantly smaller. Those coins are about 4.5 grams of silver. And these coins here are all around 17 grams, so approximately 4 times the purchasing power, which was quite substantial back in the day. Something that I absolutely love about ancient coinage as well is the symbolism depicted on them. So these coins were being produced to showcase the strength and importance of the emperor of the day, and this coin is a great example of that. So on the obverse, we have Hercules wearing a lion headdress, which was actually one of the Nemean lions that Hercules slayed as part of his 12 labors. And then on the obverse, we have a depiction of Zeus on a throne with an eagle. Now, all of this relates specifically to Alexander the Great in the sense that he was of the firm belief that he was chosen by divine forces and that he himself was a god. So depicting these two figures on coinage was a direct link between him and the gods. So I find that kind of thing so fascinating, and like I say, take the time, if you have a bit of an interest in this type of thing, to do a little bit of research of your own, and I have no doubt that you're going to learn a lot, not only about coinage and history, but about just the world in general. Alexander the Great was an incredibly important figure in world history, so to have a tangible link to him in the shop, it's pretty cool. It's not the kind of thing that I get to see every day, so when I do, it does make the shop feel that little bit more like a living museum as well. So it's the type of thing that even if you're not really interested in ancient history, perhaps you're just interested in things like gold and silver, like if you're into bullion. This type of thing is a tangible link to a time where the ratio of gold to silver was about 1 to 12. So 1 ounce of gold was the equivalent of about 12 ounces of silver. Nowadays, it's closer to 1 ounce of gold to 90 ounces of silver. That's in terms of purchasing power. That's how much it would take for a conversion. So it was a totally different economy back then, and these types of coins are a tangible link to that. Now, if anyone has an interest in Alexander the Great, you probably already know a great deal of the history, but I'll just give you my top 3 Alexander the Great highlights. First, he conquered the Persian Empire, which was an absolutely massive feat, and defeated King Darius. During this process of conquering King Darius III, he managed to capture Babylon as well as a number of other major cities. Then in 332 BC, he actually founded the city of Alexandria in Egypt. Now this went on to become a major cultural and economic hub in the ancient world. And if you've ever read into ancient history, chances are you've seen the city of Alexandria come up. And finally, and I think this is incredible, in his 13-year career as a military leader, he was absolutely undefeated in his entire time leading armies, which is very, very impressive. And also, what I find fascinating is that he was only a leader from the age of 20 to his ultimate death at the age of 32. So if I'm going to achieve anything like that, I need to get cracking. I've only got 6 months before I get to 32. So he had an absolutely massively influential and impactful life, and he only lived to be 32, which I find to be absolutely fascinating. Now back onto the coins, something that you will notice if you start getting involved in ancient coin collecting is there are often a number of slight variances on the coins in terms of the orientation between the obverse and reverse, as well as some of the centering of the design. Now the reason for this is these coins were actually hammered. So they didn't have any fancy presses, like the Perth Mint with all lasers and everything lined up. These were actually hand struck. So the production methods of these coins were comparatively far more primitive, but I find that makes it all the more impressive that they get such an impressive high relief on these coins. So if you look at them side on, you'll actually see the design coming out from the coin. And something else to consider is the condition of these coins. These coins are over 2,000 years old, and they're still in a condition where you can understand what's going on there. You can clearly see Hercules there, you can see Zeus, you can even see the text on there as well. And so as a result, lovely coins like these end up in the prize cube display here in Thompson's Coins. So I just wanted to take the opportunity to highlight these very interesting coins, have a little chat about Alexander the Great, and just, showcase what's been happening this week. As I've mentioned in previous videos, whenever I get interesting things like this through the shop, I'll always do my best to highlight them and bring you along for the journey. I appreciate that there are a number of viewers of this channel that don't have the good fortune of being close enough to drop into our store here in Boronia, Shop 8 in the Boronia Mall, 50 Dorset Square. We're open Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays and Saturdays. We're always here enjoying the wonderful, wonderful hobby of coin collecting. So like I mentioned, if you're not local and you can't get down, I hope these videos go some way as to bringing you along for the journey and highlighting some of the interesting things that come through the shop. That's it for now. What do you think of the Alexander the Great coins? Do you know anything about Alexander the Great, or have you learned something from this video? Leave a comment. Please like the video, I really appreciate it. If you enjoy the greatest hobby in the world, consider subscribing to the channel. I try to do regular videos. I do my very best to keep up to date with a regular release schedule. That's it for now. It's been an absolute hoot highlighting these interesting pieces of ancient history. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.